This is the PNG Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, Bo Cook from Loan Market, BTZD, the official apparel partner of the PNG Podcast, and the Parramatta Times, the official media partner of the PNG Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the PNG Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous PNG.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the PNG Podcast. And it is the second week of the Pacific Championship. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of a tipping sort of podcast of the second week of the Pacific Championships. Two games being played on the Saturday and the Sunday, one men's, one women's game, and it kicks off with the first time we see the Tongan women team play the Kiwi Ferns at Eden Park in Auckland. Now, the Kiwi Ferns went down last week to the Jillaroos, 16 points to 10, in a very close game. First time we've seen the Tongan women team play in the Pacific Championships. Now, there's a few names there from the NRLW that are recognisable. Definitely the captain and playing halfback, Tiana Penatani, most notably probably a centre in the NRLW, but she is the halfback and captain of this side. China Palata is in the centres. She can play wing, she can play centre, she can play front row as well, I think. So some names there that will give this Kiwi side a good shake. Tegan Dimmick as well. Cassie Tohu Hiku from the Parramatta Eels, regularly a centre at the Eels, is playing 5'8". In partnering Tiana Penatani. So the first time we'll see the Tongan women's side. Now, as I said, they take on the Kiwi Ferns, who went down to the Jillaroos last week. So I think they go in with a unchanged lineup. I think they've only got one change there on the wing. So look, they'll be all the better for the run last week. Tyler Nathan Wong comes into the 5'8" position. She was on the bench, I think, last week. And Ash Quinlan goes back to the number 19 reserves position. So she was the 5'8" last week against the Jillaroos. So a little bit of a change there for the Kiwi Ferns. But other than that, it is a pretty good looking side. Anessa Biddle, the Cronulla Sharks Rookie of the Year, and the NRLW Rookie of the Year as well, is lining up in the second row position. Last week played on the wing, I think it was, and this week in the second row. So these women, a lot of versatility in the positions that they can play, which is great to see. Georgia Hale in the position there, the Gold Coast Titans lock and captain. So look, I think New Zealand will get the win here in this game over the Tongan women's side. It is at Eden Park, a very special ground over in New Zealand, so I think the Kiwis will get this win here. And the second game tomorrow night, Saturday the 21st of October, sees the first time we see the Kiwi men take on the Samoan side. We saw the Samoans go down to the Kangaroos last week up in Townsville, and this is the first time that we see the Kiwis playing in this Pacific Championships. Now, pretty strong side there. Joseph Manu is in the centre position with Charles Nickel-Clockstar at fullback. We have seen over in the World Cup and previous Test matches Joey Manu playing at fullback. Who knows? They may roam around. They may change around. They've just been named in these positions at the moment. They may stick to them, but they may roam around and change it up a little bit depending on how the game goes. Dylan Brown and Jerome Hughes at the half and 5/8 combination. Congratulations to James Fisher-Harris from the Penrith Panthers, who captains this side, the New Zealand side, for the first time. He's front row partner from Penrith, Moses Leota, is up front as well, so that will be a good clash against Junior Paolo from the Parramatta Eels and Big Stefano Utukamanu from the West Tigers. So Isaiah Papali'i second row, Joseph Tarpany in the lock position. So look, Kieran Foran on the bench as well, and Nelson Asafa-Solomona. Leo Thompson makes his debut from the Newcastle Knights, which is great to see. So, look, I think Kieran Foran will stay on the interchange bench. He's pretty versatile. We may even see him go into the hooking position when he comes onto the field, and obviously cover for the halves if need be. Jermaine Osako, who's had a great year with the Dolphins, gets a debut. Or sorry, not a debut. He has played for New Zealand before, but it's been a while since he's played for the Kiwis, so he gets a wing position. So great to see him. I think he was a top point scorer in the competition this year, so great to see Jermaine in the Kiwis lineup. For the Samoans, I think there's only one out there. Young Tanamapia has been replaced by his Melbourne Storm teammate Marion Seve in the centres. And look, this is relatively the same sort of side that we saw last week against the Kangaroos. Stephen Crichton lines up again at 5/8 for the Samoans. Spencer Lino on the bench, Terrell May, Helim Luki, and Justin Matamua as well on the bench. Look, Greg Marzu on the extended bench, Ronald Volkman as well, Royce Hunt. It's a pretty good backline. Really interested to see how Suafar Longo goes again in the fullback position. Had a great Samoan try, ruled a no try last week against the Kangaroos. And look, it's just amazing to see how this kid's development has come after only playing about 40 minutes of NRL football. He had his first test last week, and he lines up in the fullback position again in his second test, which is obviously keeping Stephen Crichton out of that fullback position. So, look, I think the Kiwis will get this win again in New Zealand, Eden Park, against the Samoans, and I think that will see the Samoans exit the competition with 2 losses in a row. So I think the Kiwis will get this job done. I think it'll be a close game. I think there'll be a lot of points in this game. I think it'll be about 20 points each team. So I think it'll be like a 26-20 game, something like that. So, but I'm tipping the Kiwis to win that game there, and I'm going to go Jermaine Osako as the first try scorer in the game. So Sunday sees us back up in PNG, and the first time we see the Cook Islands ladies play in this Pacific Championships up at Port Moresby, the National Football Stadium up there, against the PNG Orchids. The first time we see them as well in this competition. So, look, this is going to be an interesting game. I don't know too much about these players that are playing in this game. All I know from previous viewing of the PNG side is I know they play the game very tough, as do the PNG men's side as well. So they really give it a real good go. Elsie Albert from the Parramatta Eels is the captain. For me, she is the most recognisable name in that squad. So she will not let the side down, that's for sure. Hasn't played a lot of football this year due to injury, but great to see her back in the PNG side. Probably the only real noticeable name for myself in the Cook Islands side is Kiana Takarangi, the sister of Brad Takarangi, who is also playing in the second game after the women's game here. So, look, I don't really know who's going to win this game, but I'm going to tip the PNG Orchids. I think just in front of their home crowd, they're crazy up in the air in PNG. That look, they'll like the Cook Islands women playing as well. Like, they've just been really embraced up there in PNG. They've been doing visits around the country, and it's been just great. It's the crowds and the videos that I'm seeing on social media from the players that are up there. The kids and the fans are just loving this Pacific Championships being played up there, so much so that maybe there is talk about the 18th NRL team coming out of PNG. So just have to wait and see what happens there. But look, I'm going to tip PNG in this game, only just because it's a home game. I think they'll get the job done there. And as I said, the second game on the Sunday at 4 p.m. sees the first time we see the Fijian men play in this Pacific Championships. Now, this game is also at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby, and it is the second week we see the Cook Islands play. They lost to the PNG men last week, so same thing for them. If they lose this game, then they will be out of the Pacific Championships. So, first time we've seen the Fijians. Now, this Fijian backline is pretty amazing. I think it's really exciting to watch. I'm not too sure about the 5'8" Kurt Donahue, but Brandon Wakeham, he has played a lot of games for Fiji. He's probably most experienced there, has played at a few NRL clubs as well, Canterbury and the Tigers off memory, but he's a halfback. But their 1 to 5 this could be a really good game to watch. It could be a lot of points scored in this game. Their fullback Jareen Buller from the Tigers, who lit it up this year in the NRL for a rookie, Mike Acevo and Michaeli Ravalawa on the wings there, and Taruva and Wonga Blake in the centres. So, look, that is a really exciting 1 to 5. Obviously, a lot of speed, a lot of skill, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But I think if those 5 unleash against this Cook Islands side, then if they get a lot of room, then the points could come on, as we saw the PNG side put on the Cook Islands last week. Tui Kamakamitha captains the side for the Fijians, which is great to see from the Melbourne Storm there. Look, the Cook Islands are going to find it difficult again to challenge this Fijian side, I think. They're very inexperienced side. The Cook Islands, Brad Takarangi captains the side again, playing at 5'8". Issa Masters plays halfback. He's not a real noted halfback, obviously in the centres or on the wing, but not a real noted halfback there. But look, I think the Fijians will get this game. I think they could put a lot of points on, and simply because of those back 5. So that'll be exciting to watch. So no doubt I'll be watching that game for sure. And look, as in terms of first try scorer, look, I'm going to go Wonga Blake. First try, Wonga Blake in this game, Fiji versus Cook Islands. So this will be an exciting game to watch. 4 p.m. up in Port Moresby on Channel 9 and KO and Foxtel, Fox League. So check that one out as well. So that wraps up week 2 of the Pacific Championships. So once again on the Saturday we have the Kiwi Ferns take on the Tongan women's side first up, at Eden Park, and then we have which I'm tipping the Kiwi Ferns. I'm tipping a Kiwi double on the Saturday, so the Kiwi men take on the Samoans, and then on the Sunday we have the PNG Orchids take on the Cook Island ladies team, women's team, and then on the Sunday we have the Fijians take on the Cook Islands. Now, unfortunately for the Cook Islands, I'm going to tip the PNG Orchids in the women's game, and I'm going to tip the Fijians in the Sunday men's game. So, look, it's great to have international rugby league being played at this time of year. Over in England, I'm not too sure when it starts, but over in England we have the English side take on the Tongan side as well, so that'll be interesting to watch as well. So, look, check your local guides and for this game, and if you can, have a look at them. There'll be some exciting football being played, and it's just great to have footy back and international football as well. I think we need to really embrace this international code, and certainly it's one game that AFL can't take internationally. They can't take AFL internationally, so it's definitely one game that we can take internationally and build on what we have already. So good experience for these Pacific nations, especially like the Cook Islands, PNG, Fiji as well, to get a little bit more experience. We've seen what Samoa could do last year in the World Cup, and we've seen what Tonga can do in the past as well, with wins over New Zealand and also Australia as well. So if the international game can strengthen along with State of Origin football and obviously NRL football, then rugby league will be in a good position. So enjoy your footy over the weekend. I'm about to jump on Pulse FM 89.9 FM and have a chat with the Duckman about this, and you'll also catch me there on Sunday night as well. So enjoy your footy over the weekend, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.